The email arrived at 4:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, marked urgent. Immediate meeting required. Conference room B, do not discuss with colleagues. I stared at the screen, my coffee going cold in my hand. 3 years at Sterling Tech, never a single complaint, and now this. My manager Claire wasn't copied. Just Vanessa from HR and 2 names I didn't recognize. I grabbed my phone and headed upstairs, each step feeling heavier than the last. Through the glass door I saw Vanessa sitting with her laptop open, wearing that tight smile she reserved for terminations. 2 men in suits flanked her, legal pads ready. Vanessa gestured to a chair. "Thank you for coming, Alex. We've received concerning reports about your conduct. Multiple colleagues have complained about inappropriate behavior, harassment specifically." The word hit me like a punch. She slid documents across the table. Anonymous complaints, vague accusations, dated over 3 months. Nothing specific, just poison that would destroy my career. "This is insane," I said, hands shaking. "I haven't harassed anyone who's accusing me." Her smile never wavered. "The complaints are confidential to protect the victims. You're on immediate administrative leave. Surrender your badge and laptop." I left both on the table and walked out, my entire world collapsing. I spent 3 days drowning in anxiety before clarity struck. I'd set up automatic email forwards years ago after a previous company lost my files during a server crash. Every work email I'd ever sent had been copied to my personal account. I started searching, looking for anything with the women Vanessa mentioned as complainants. Hours passed as I read through hundreds of messages. Every single interaction was professional and appropriate. Then I found something that made my blood run cold. 2 months ago, Vanessa had emailed each woman asking them to schedule casual coffee meetings with me as part of a team-building initiative. She'd orchestrated every interaction she was now twisting into complaints. I kept digging, my hands shaking. An email from Vanessa to legal, dated 2 weeks before my suspension, with the subject line "building documentation." The preview read, "Following up on our discussion regarding problem employees." That's when I remembered. 3 months ago, I'd filed a report about discrepancies in the expense system. Hotel stays billed at luxury rates for local events that didn't exist. Dinners for conferences that weren't on the company calendar. I'd sent a polite email to Claire, copying finance, asking if these were errors. Vanessa's team-building initiative started exactly 1 week later. This wasn't about harassment. This was about silencing someone who'd seen too much. She was manufacturing a case to destroy my credibility before I could expose her fraud. I needed proof, but I'd been locked out of company systems. Then I remembered our shared cloud system for project files. I'd saved login credentials on my personal laptop months ago for weekend work. My hands shook as I tried logging in, expecting access denied. The system accepted my credentials. I was in. I downloaded everything, working through the night before someone noticed. What I found was worse than I'd imagined. Vanessa had been approving fraudulent expenses for over 2 years, not just for herself but for several executives. Fake vendor invoices, inflated travel costs, personal purchases disguised as business expenses, hundreds of thousands of dollars. My single email inquiry had threatened to expose everything, but firing me right after I'd reported financial irregularities would look suspicious, so she'd gotten creative with false harassment claims. My reputation destroyed, any future accusations would look like revenge from a disgruntled fired employee. I organized everything into folders, building an airtight case. Financial documents showing fraud. Emails proving Vanessa orchestrated my interactions with female coworkers. My own messages demonstrating every interaction was professional. But I needed one more thing, testimony from the women who'd supposedly complained. I texted Kennedy, someone I'd worked with last year. "I'm on leave due to harassment complaints. If you filed one, I understand. But if you were pressured into anything, I need to know. My career is being destroyed." 3 agonizing hours later, she responded, "I never filed any complaint. Vanessa asked me questions about our interactions. I said everything was always professional. What's going on?" Kennedy met me at a coffee shop across town. "I could get fired for talking to you," she said nervously. I showed her my evidence. Her eyes widened as she read. "Vanessa called me into her office 6 weeks ago. She asked if you'd ever made me uncomfortable or said anything inappropriate. I said no, absolutely not." She seemed disappointed. Kennedy explained how Vanessa had asked leading questions, twisting innocent interactions. "Did he ever compliment your appearance? Did he invite you to after-work events?" Normal workplace conversations were being weaponized. "I never filed a complaint, Alex. If someone said I did, they're lying." I recorded her statement, then reached out to Jamie and Brooke. Jamie was furious when she called. "Vanessa told me you were being investigated and that I was listed as a witness. I barely know you. We worked on one project together and you were nothing but professional." But Brooke's story was the most damning. She'd left Sterling Tech a month ago after Vanessa offered her a promotion to cooperate with an internal investigation. When Brooke refused to make false statements, her position was suddenly eliminated. "She is HR," Brooke said bitterly. "She controls the investigations. Who was going to believe me over her?" But Brooke had kept emails where Vanessa tried coaching her to remember conversations that never happened, promising career advancement for cooperation. "I'll testify," Brooke said firmly. "She can't be allowed to do this to people." With 3 statements proving the complaints were fabricated, plus financial documents and email evidence, I finally had enough to fight back. I couldn't go to Sterling Tech's leadership since some were likely involved in the expense fraud. My friend Nathan, a paralegal, suggested the State Labor Board and the Attorney General's Fraud Division. "You're alleging retaliation for whistleblowing and conspiracy to commit fraud. That's their jurisdiction." I spent 2 days preparing a formal complaint package, everything organized and time-stamped. I filed on Thursday morning. By Friday afternoon, 2 investigators showed up at Sterling Tech with a warrant. My friend Tyler texted from inside, "Alex, something's happening. People from the state AG's office are here. They're in Vanessa's office." I sat in my apartment barely breathing, wondering if I'd made everything better or destroyed my life further. At 4 p.m., Howard from legal called. His voice was different now, careful and almost respectful. "Alex, we need you to come in Monday morning. The investigation has taken a new direction. Your suspension is lifted and we'll need your full cooperation with external investigators." Monday morning, I walked back into Sterling Tech wearing a visitor badge. Vanessa's office was empty, her desk cleared. Claire met me looking like she'd aged 5 years. "I owe you an apology. I should have followed up on your expense report email." For 6 hours, I walked state investigators through everything. Every document, every email, every orchestrated interaction. The evidence was overwhelming. Vanessa had created an elaborate scheme to destroy my career because I'd accidentally stumbled onto her fraud. She'd manipulated innocent colleagues, violated company policy, and nearly ruined my life to protect herself. The news broke 2 weeks later. The local business journal headline read, "Sterling Tech HR Director arrested for fraud and retaliation." Vanessa was terminated and charged with multiple felonies. 3 executives who'd benefited from the expense fraud scheme were also fired. The company issued a formal apology to me, offered full back pay, and quietly suggested a settlement that included a strong letter of recommendation and enough money to make the nightmare feel slightly less devastating. I took it. Some battles aren't worth continuing once you've proven your point. Kennedy, Jamie, and Brooke all received apologies and compensation for their roles in exposing the scheme. Brooke got her job back with a promotion, but I was done with Sterling Tech. I'd learned that the people meant to protect you can sometimes be the ones you need protection from. I accepted a position at a different company in another city, one that actually valued integrity. 6 months later, I stood in my new apartment, finally feeling like I could breathe again. The experience had changed me. I'd learned that documentation saves lives, that speaking up has costs but silence has more, and that I was stronger than I thought. My phone buzzed with a message from Tyler. "Your story just got cited in a lawsuit against another company. You started something, man." Maybe I had. Sometimes one person standing up against injustice creates a ripple that reaches further than you ever imagined. I'd walked into that conference room thinking my career was over. Instead, I'd exposed a criminal, protected future victims, and discovered my own strength. Looking back now, I understand what my parents taught me through all those years watching them struggle with their bakery. Hard work matters, but documentation matters more. Integrity isn't just refusing to participate in wrong things, it's actively fighting against them even when it costs you. That urgent email at 4:47 p.m. felt like the end of my world. It turned out to be the beginning of something better. A life where I don't accept injustice quietly. A career built on standing up rather than staying silent. The nightmare Vanessa tried to trap me and became the catalyst for real change, not just for me but for everyone she might have targeted next. I sleep better now knowing I didn't just save myself. I saved the next person she would have destroyed. If you've ever been set up, if someone in power has ever tried to silence you for doing the right thing, if you felt alone fighting against a system that protects the wrong people, you're not alone. Your truth matters, your evidence matters, your voice matters. Document everything, trust your instincts, and never stop fighting for what's right. The people who try to destroy you are counting on your silence. Don't give it to them. If any part of Alex's story felt familiar to you, drop a comment below. Have you ever been set up at work? Have you ever exposed corruption and paid the price? Share your experience with this community, because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to find the courage to fight back. And if this story opened your eyes to workplace retaliation tactics, hit that like button and subscribe for more true stories about people who refused to be silenced. Next week, we're covering another mind-blowing case you won't want to miss. Remember, they're counting on your silence. Don't give it to them. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe.